Hi, welcome to the Law Simplified. I'm Shraveen Bandadnayaka. More often than not, a first-class answer can be identified by an examiner from the very introduction of the student. In this video, let's have a look at this one specific technique that you can implement to go from a pass to an ace in your examinations. What I tend to notice quite often is that students tend to take the kitchen sink approach when it comes to answering examination questions. What I mean by that is a student may read an essay question or a problem-based scenario and identify certain keywords that allude to the area of law being questioned. So for example, a question in homicide, the moment a student sees that a person has died, quite rightly, he or she identifies that this is a question on perhaps homicide, on murder, manslaughter, and so on. But then, without analyzing it and critiquing the scenario, he or she simply goes out there and talks ad nauseum, at length, about homicide. Basically, showing the examiner that the student knows everything there is to know about homicide. This is not the best way to go about it. You need to analyze, articulate, and argue the scenario. Now, having said that, this particular technique that I'm going to outline for you is specifically important when actually approaching the question. Firstly, in relation to gaining that grade that you richly deserve in terms of the examination, but also on a practical context. Let me explain. The technique that you need to implement is to look at your introduction as your conclusion. What do I mean by this? Every time you approach an introduction in your law examination, think of it in three specific aspects. Ask yourself, firstly, am I showing the examiner that I understand the area of law being examined? Secondly, am I showing the examiner that I am aware of the facts and the parties involved in this question? And thirdly, am I showing the examiner that I have structured this answer in a methodical manner? So to break it down, have I shown that I know the law? Have I shown that I understand the facts of the question and its application? And have I shown that I have a systemic or a structured and a methodical way of going about the answer? Once you have asked yourself these three questions, you need to formulate your introduction to best present these three scenarios, these three aspects. In other words, your introduction should show that you know the law, that you understand the facts and how the law applies to it, and also indicate to the examiner how you intend to present your arguments, essentially your structure. This 1 or 1.5 paragraphs in your introduction will mean the world in terms of the grade that you get as well as the impression that you make with the examiner. Specifically, when he realizes that you have gone through this process methodically. So on the one hand, why this is important is so that you create a good first impression with the examiner. But I mentioned earlier about a practical reason for this. That practical reason is for you, is for the person who's writing the answer. When you have your structure, the way in which you're going to go about answering this question outlined in the introduction itself, this essentially provides you with a good roadmap for the rest of your answer. When you have 45 minutes or 1 hour in an examination, a pressure scenario like an examination, chances are you might essentially forget what you were going to write about in the first place. So let this introduction be like a handle that you can go and refer back to if at any point in writing the answer you feel like you've lost track of what you should say. This is the structure. And following this, when you use other techniques that I've spoken about in several other videos that you can find on this channel, or even the playlist, How to Ace a Law Exam, which is found on the Law Simplified platform, you'll notice that it builds onto your ability to go from a simple pass to that of an ace. So once again, to recap, remember, your introduction should be something that shows your examiner that you know the law, you understand the facts and how the law applies to it, and you've showcased the presentation or the structure of the presentation that you're going to go about. Once you have these three factors in place, the rest of your answer will flow smoothly, and more importantly, you've created the best first impression with your examiner, and he will have that mindset when he or she reads and marks or grades your answer script. If you'd like to know more about what you can do to supplement your answers and to create answer scripts or to present arguments in an articulated and well-structured manner to your examiner, I'd be happy to help out once you reach out to me through the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure you give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos of this caliber, make sure you subscribe to The Law Simplified. I've launched a brand new website, thelawsimplified.com, where you can find this and other helpful tips and techniques to take your examination answers from a pass to an ace. But until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and obey the law.